In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a more advanced Photoshop technique so you can edit around hair more effectively so you won't have jagged edges or white space around the hair. So I've gone to Google and I found a large photo. It's 2000 by 1300. So I just looked up Beyonce, looked up tools and large to find a very, very good quality photo. You're going to have a large photo to do this because you're going to be zooming in a lot. And when you zoom in and it's pixelated, it's hard to get an adequate read on the photo. So here's the original photo. I've already done the hard lifting just to show you what the end will look like. I'm not going to spend 30 minutes showing you how to do this. I'm just going to show you the basics, and you just use that same skill set over and over and over again to achieve the finished look. This could take hours of work if you really are meticulous, and I don't want to put you through watching an hour-long video. So here's the finished product. I'm going to turn that off and turn on the original. When you pull this in, if you paste the photo in Photoshop, you're going to have a background layer. Let me zoom in so this doesn't move this away, so it's not in your way. Okay. If you paste the photo, you're going to have two different layers. You're going to have a background layer and the photo. If you download the photo and open it, it's going to be a background file on its own. Most of you will probably do that. So you'll need to unlock the background file. I'm going to delete this white background because we don't need it anyway, which will leave me with this one layer. If you just have the one layer, just double click the lock to get rid of the lock, or pull the lock to the trash can and get rid of the lock. So what I'm going to do is basically go over a tool that you've already learned so far, which is the polygonal lasso tool, but I'm going to combine it with what's called a quick mask. That's something we haven't gone over, but it's an advanced Photoshop technique so you can really see what you're selecting. So first, I'm going to zoom in on Jay-Z's hair because that's probably the biggest problem area to edit. It's going to have a lot more areas where you can mess up. So I'm going to just click around his hair using the polygonal lasso tool. And you can see that it's already creating jagged edges. You know, no one's hair looks like that. No one's hair is going to be super jagged like this. And that's why knowing the quick mask will save you in these type of situations. So I'm doing a loose selection, and I'm going to go through and adjust this. And again, the trick I'm about to show you, you want to use it in little pieces of the photo at a time. You don't want to do the whole photo at one time because it's too easy to mess up and you'll have to start all over again. So it's better to just choose parts of a photo and use the technique. So like I just chose his hair. And I'm just going to do one side of his hair actually right now. So all I'm doing is clicking around. Make sure you don't double click at any point, because if you double click, it will think that you're finished and it'll connect back to the original point. Okay, that's good enough for now. So I'm going to go, whoops, I can fix that. All right, so I'm going to go back to the original to select the space. Now this is the new point that we haven't gone over up to this point. So once you've created the marching ants, you're going to hit the letter Q. And what that does is it's called a quick mask, and it shows you exactly what you have selected up to this point. So you can turn on your brush tool, make it smaller, and choose a soft brush by clicking right clicking. and make sure black is the first color. And you can paint, you can begin to paint on and off, just like you would when you're actually removing it. And what this is doing is, instead of removing anything, it's just changing your selection. So I'm going around the jagged edges. I'll make my brush a little bit smaller by right-clicking. A shortcut to toggle between white and black is the letter X. So I'm going to hit the letter X, and you'll see white comes on top. This will come in major handy when you're using this tool, because this way you don't have to go back and forth on your screen. You can just hit the letter X and it'll automatically do it for you. Make my brush a little bit smaller for this little crevice. Hit my letter X again to toggle. So the red indicates the selection. The white area indicates what you're going to delete. So the red indicates what you want to keep. The white indicates what you're deleting. And all I'm doing is just smoothing out those lines so they don't look so jagged on his hair. And I'm just hitting the letter X over and over again to delete and then add on again. So I hit the letter X again because I want to cover this black area of his hair. And I'm hitting the letter X again to remove the white right here. And see, there's black here that I want to add on. So I'm going to hit the letter X again and select that black. And right here. So you can just, you could do this forever, honestly. So at this point, I'm going to zoom out. Command minus, or you can go to view zoom out. And you can see what I've done so far. I'm actually going to fix that area at the top. Zoom in. Letter X to bring the white up front. Remove this. Put letter X again. Hit that. Basically, I'm just toggling between white, black, white, black, white, black to add on and subtract. Add on, subtract. All right, zoom out again, and I'm going to hit the letter Q. Hitting the letter Q gets rid of this red, and it shows me what my selection is. So now I'm going to hit Quick Mask. Add Layer Mask. All right, undo. I'm going to select Inverse and do that again. Okay, so now I have the layer mask established, and you can see that I'm starting to delete around his hair. And by zooming in, it looks a lot better than the jagged edges. You can always go in and edit even more. Just make sure you're on this layer mask and your brush is turned on, and you can paint it on, paint it off, just like we've learned in the past. So you can always go back and edit some more. But the good thing about the quick mask is, excuse me, it lets you edit the selection before you make the selection. So doing it again, I'm gonna show you again. So I have my quick mask turned on. I'm gonna turn my polygonal lasso tool on, and I'm gonna select even more around his hair. I cannot stress enough that it's important to do this in little steps, because if you try to do the whole photo at once, inevitably you'll double click at some point, and the polygonal lasso tool will connect back to the beginning, and then it's just even harder to start over. So it's easier just to do just a little bit at a time, all the way around the photo until you have completed the design. So I'm just clicking around his hair. I'm on my layer mask layer. And again, it all looks really jagged at this point. That's the whole point of using my quick mask and my brush tool to make it look more realistic and not jagged. All right, so this is a good stopping point. I'm going to go up back to my original point and select. So now I'm going to hit Q again to show where my selection is. I'm going to turn my brush tool on and start painting on and off. So this part I want to remove, so I'm going to hit the letter X to bring white forward. You don't have to do the shortcut. You can go back and forth if you want. That's totally up to you. I'm privy to shortcuts because it's so much faster. I'm going to hit the X again, paint on everywhere that I see black that I missed. And I hit the X again and start painting off the areas that I want to stay white. Also allows you to get the inside areas of the hair that you wouldn't be able to get with the lasso tool, and combine with the outside edges. All right, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit letter Q again to get out of the quick mask, and this shows me what my selection is. Now I'm going to make sure that I'm on the layer mask before I start painting off. If I paint at this point, you'll see it's going to turn black. You'll realize that that's wrong because it shouldn't turn black, it should erase. And if it does turn black, you're actually painting the photo. So undo is Command Z, or edit, undo. And make sure that you click the layer mask before you try to paint off. So now I have my brush turned on, I have the black brought forward, and I'm going to increase the size of the brush so I can just delete this stuff quickly. And then I'm going to go to select and deselect to get rid of the marching ants. So you essentially just do those steps over and over and over again until you achieve the look that you're going for. I'm going to zoom out. The holes in his hair look kind of wonky here, so I'm gonna re-add that color back in. That's the beautiful thing about using a layer mask, is you can re-add things that you deleted. If you were using an eraser, you wouldn't be able to re-add anything. So again, you just toggle between quick mask, layer mask until you achieve this look. And then eventually, after 30 minutes, an hour or so, depending on how advanced your photo is, you will get this effect. So this is the finished one where I've gone all the way around his hair and all the way around her hair and removed around the arm space and in this area and also around his hand. At this point, you just save the Photoshop file and bring it into your InDesign file.